Hi everyone. Today I've got lots of work to do in the garden, plenty of work to be done, but I also wanted to make a video, so I'll just combine the two. And while I'm doing my work, I will tell you several stories about folklore creatures we believed in as children in rural Bulgaria. Let's go. I grew up in rural Bulgaria many years ago, and just to set the tone for you to understand how it was, we still had a black and white television. And the internet, there was no hint of it. No, not one bit. Um, we didn't have any access to information like people do now. We had only books and not even a TV, so just the radio, for example. So it was very different to what it is now. And as children, we absolutely believed in magic, in magical creatures, in magical things, in magical happenings, in miracles. And folklore and superstitions were everywhere. They were in our everyday life, in many things we did. So, for example, we had this creature that was absolutely related to kids, and it was called Kiki. It is a little house spirit that supposedly lived inside every house, inside cupboards and in closets also. And if you misbehave during the day, Kiki would come at night and bite your toes. And we were all scared. So, to appease it, we would leave little offerings of sweets in front of cupboards. Then we would leave the room because the Kiki would not appear if we are there. And sometime later we would come back and we will check for little bite marks on the sweets, and if there were any, Kiki was pleased. If there weren't any, Kiki was not pleased. And if Kiki was not pleased, some child would always say on the next day, "Oh, my toes got bitten by Kiki. We couldn't appease it." And but there's always just one child that would go into the room and say, "Oh, I need to get something completely unrelated," and they would take a little bite and then pretend that Kiki took a bite. Yeah, and there was also something about Kiki. It was very popular to use it as excuse if something was wrong. If you did something in the house, like broke a plate, forgot the cupboard open, or something like that, and we would always tell to our parents, "It was Kiki, it wasn't me." Yeah, so there was another very popular spirit we were talking about and were trying to summon, and this was the Lady of Spades. It is very similar to Bloody Mary, actually. When I grew up and read about Bloody Mary, I was surprised how similar these two creatures are, and how come we have this in Bulgaria and other people have it in another part of the world. So the Lady of Spades is evil lady, evil spirit, who can be summoned by going into a dark room with a mirror, big mirror, and calling her names 3 times. And then she would appear in the mirror. And that was it. I don't know how was this so popular with children, because she didn't grant wishes, she was evil, and the only thing that happened was for you to see her in the mirror. But it was a big thing back then, the Lady of Spades, and I personally was very terrified of her. And once I found a Queen of Spades playing card on the ground, and I thought that the Lady of Spades chose me for her evil deeds, and I was so scared that something bad would happen to me in the next day or the following days. I was terrified for days. I still remember it because I was so scared and took it like as an omen. Oh my god, the Queen of Spades card. And we also had our own version of a Ouija board. It was homemade, of course. There was no such thing as Ouija boards in Bulgaria back then. So we would take a piece of paper and would write the alphabet, the numbers from 1 to 10, and the words yes and no, as it is with Ouija boards. But then you need one very large mirror. It needs to fit the paper. So the mirror and the paper is placed on a table, and then everything is completely covered with salt until nothing is visible from the letters, the numbers, nothing. And then we would start chanting. Of course, I don't remember the chanting anymore, but we would chant it, I remember, 3 times. And we also would put a small object in the middle of the salt and put our fingers on it, a small object like, I don't know, a deodorant cup or a bottle cup. And would put our fingers on it, and when the spirits came, they would use our fingers and the small object to clear up the salt. And of course, we would ask them all kinds of silly things, who likes who, when are we going to get married, how many children are we going to have, are we going to be rich, whose boyfriend is where at the moment, and silly things like that. And actually, I had this friend. She was bilingual, and she actually asked some of her questions in her other language that was not Bulgarian, and they would still answer. And all of this looked absolutely real to us. And many people would actually say, many children would actually say after the sessions that they've had nightmares for days after that, or that the spirits followed them home and strange things started to happen, and things like that. And yeah, we had many of those things. For example, there was this superstition amongst children that if you stumble while you walk, you need to say 3 curse words right away, or something bad will happen to you. Or if you step on a manhole, you have to go back and step over it, or something bad will happen to you. It was always, if you don't do this, something bad will happen to you. And yeah, these were 3 short stories about some of my childhood memories. Joining me, everyone. I hope you enjoyed these stories. I would absolutely love it if you told me your own stories in the comments, of you growing up, what you and your friends believed in, what folklore creatures, what kind of magical creatures. I really love folklore and traditions, and I'm very interested in this topic. I would really love to hear that. Thanks again for joining, and I'll see you next time. Bye.